Welcome to Guy Thompson, aka Nirma's Daily Challenge for February 2nd. I will be your Nirma for today. So, we are going to watch Guy hopefully not embarrass himself terribly and die in the first 30 seconds. Although that would make my job easier, because then I don't have to say too much. Throws. I'm going to see if... oh dear. He likes making things explode a lot. I play Spelunky with him sometimes. I'm his girlfriend, by the way. Maybe that would be important information that all of you, hundreds and thousands of viewers, would like to know. But, usually I spend a lot of time dead in the co-op, and try to make it to his little coffin to revive him, and then proceed to fall on spikes. That's usually how co-op goes. But, sometimes I make it to the jungle, or the ice caves. Sometimes. Guy recommends that I talk about Puzzle and Dragons. It is a little game for iOS and Android, and I played on his tablet. It is a Japanese game where there are puzzles and dragons, and sort of like Pokemon, but they try to get you to spend money to buy the Pokemon / dragons and monsters. The currency of the game is rocks that are magic, that are called magic stones. So yes, they are. They're basically rocks. So it's like Pokemon plus lottery plus... well, they're always making new monsters, which is what Pokemon does too. Probably gonna make everyone who actually plays Pokemon religiously hate me and Guy. My party in Puzzle and Dragons is a, what is it called? I guess there's a couple main types of parties. There's ones where you have a single color, and then you try to get power-ups for that color. Oh shoot, I guess I should explain. The basic mechanics of the game are that there are 4 element types: red, green, blue, black, and white. And there's like some elemental stuff so that white does more damage to black and blue does more damage to red. So like fire, water, holy, dark, and grass. Yes. So there's that element stuff, also a little like Pokemon. So my party is mostly blue, because at the beginning, also much like Pokemon, you pick a starter monster that is either red, blue, or green. And some of them look strikingly like Pokemon. It's like a Tira, looks like, of course, like a Charmander, and a grass thing that looks a lot like, not Bulbasaur, but that flowery one that's like 2nd or 3rd generation starter. I imagine somebody knows what I'm talking about who plays Pokemon. So my primary party is a blue one, because that's what I got. And I picked the blue starter, and then on my first roll, see, when you have those little magic rocks, you roll to, there's a little slot machine, and you roll to get like fancy, better monsters. It's like god-type monsters, and those will often have special skills for your party of 5 monsters. You get 5 monsters to a party. Man, I am sorry that my organizational skills are probably bad at explaining Puzzle and Dragons. Hopefully it's not completely incoherent. But yes, I have a blue party with a Hermes, which is a god type, and so I get like double HP and double attack strength on all my blue monsters. So I'll set up a party with a bunch of blue monsters. And then there's another mechanic where you have two leaders. One is one of your monsters that you choose, and another one is the monster of someone else playing the game, or someone else who plays the game. They don't have to be currently playing. But so that introduces like a friends mechanic, so that you want to play frequently, so that other people will choose your monster and be your friend. And then they can use your monster's skills, and you also get points for that you can spend on a different little slot machine and try to get more monsters. I think it's interesting. It's not... It's a good... for a while I was like really into it. I'd play it kind of compulsively. It's that sort of game, but it's lost some of its charm because it can get kind of frustrating if you can't get the monsters that you need. So you need certain types of monsters for parties later in the game, otherwise you literally can't kill certain types of monsters. Like a monster will have a really high defense, and because there's a they have defense stats and then HP, and if they have too high of defense, you cannot damage them. More or less, you can only do like 1 HP of damage, and some of them are designed that way, so you need a monster that can take that defense down to 0 often to deal with that. And if you don't have one, you're just SOL and you can't play that dungeon. The battles are structured into dungeons, by the way, so you can choose, I want to go to this battle or that battle. There's no like random encounters like there would be in Pokemon. And guy was asking me questions, by the way, to help me out here as I struggle to describe Puzzle and Dragons. Let me see. Other than that, I am not nearly as much of a religious gamer as Guy is. I mostly play a lot of TF2. That's my kind of game of choice. I'm a very like social gamer. I play with like the same few people and hop on Mumble and just kind of casually mess around. I'll play a little bit of Left 4 Dead 2. I was playing also some Left 4 Dead 2 the other night, and we played Versus, since we had kind of a little crew of 8, in which you get to be both the zombies and the survivors. Left 4 Dead is a zombie game, by the way, I should say, and there's like special types of zombies, each of which has its own little powers. Like there's one that spits on people and basically like makes acid, so when you step into it, it hurts you. And there's a different one that sort of like vomits on you, and that makes you not able to see and draws all the other zombies towards you. Not that they all spit on you. There's other ones that jump on your back and can try to like push you into danger and make you unable to, you wouldn't be able to move while one of those types of zombies is on you. So if you don't get help, you are unable to deal with that. So the monster would effectively kill you. It does like a little low-level damage over time, and then it'll also like, it can lead you off a cliff, and then you'll just be killed. There's one, for example, that has a it sounds a little weird, but it has a tongue that it can shoot out to latch onto somebody and kind of choke them and pull them. So if you don't get help from your teammates, you'll just die. It's kind of designed that way to foster teamwork. Because there's a lot of things you can't do by yourself, or if you get into trouble, you cannot get yourself out. Guy asked me if I prefer playing zombies or humans, that's why I said But, so I got distracted by him playing. So I hadn't seen that little idol with the ghost head on it. The little skull causes a ghost to appear. So you can actually get 2 ghosts, and I was trying to think if that was the first ghost or the second. But entirely tangential. So Versus is really fun with people you know. Because you sort of have that camaraderie going, which is already a part of the game. But then you have Versus where you can, heckle your friends, because you murder them. It's very endearing. But, he said he was asking if I like being the humans or the zombies better. And I still don't have, a ton of time Left 4 Dead under my belt, so I used to hate being the zombies, because I would always be really horrible at it. But I've been getting a little bit better, so it's more fun to play the zombies now, I think. There's kind of this whole, psychological aspect about it. You have to learn the maps, and then try to... Then you will know, where they're gonna go. You have to try to get ahead of them. Or ahead of the survivors, that is. And coordinate with your team to all attack them at once. So you can hopefully take them all out. And of course the zombies' goal is to kill all the humans. If you have only one taken out, for example, he can still help his friend and, revive him. But if you take all of them out, then there's nobody to help. It's also very fun to, say your team has 3 of them down, or 2 of them down, 2 of the survivors down. You're kind of like, ooh, if I get that one guy, we'll win. That sort of thing. And I'm also watching a guy murder the shopkeepers for one of the first times. So I've been watching him play this game for probably months now, the whole progression of being afraid of the shopkeepers and just being instantly screwed when you piss one of them off. That little guy's going in a circle. The one by the wheel. Huh. I don't know if we have no weapon. Was that the one that was the weapon? Oh, I guess he did have a weapon. He picked it. Or I guess he picked one up. Nirma has just wasted his Ankh, which he was going to use to get to hell. And now it means he can't get to hell. And also the ghost is chasing him, so we'll see if he dies horribly, because that would be amusing. Let's see, what else have I been up to as far as games? Oh, so guys asking about one of my school clubs. We have an engineering club at my school that I just joined, in which we build robots for a competition called Vex. And in Vex you get... It's sort of like an organization where there is a certain set of regulated parts, and you can only buy stuff within these certain... so that everybody has the same equipment, and there's a certain set of weight requirements. You can only have so many motors to your robot. You can only have certain types of wheels, for instance, that are regulation. But what it's designed for these little competitions. I don't know if there's multiple types, but the one I heard about, or I came to understood, involves you're sort of like a little, not soccer, but you have a bunch of little balls on the field, well, I guess balls of different sizes, and you have to push them into the goal area. And at the same time, your opposite team is trying to push their balls into their goal area. But you can mess. Everything stays on the field, so you can mess with your opponent's stuff and move it out of the goal area. And also, you work in a team. There's a red team and a blue team, and each team has 2 robots. So you can design one to do, one set of tasks and another to do another set of tasks. And the major obstacles on the field are, I guess I should say first, the field is set up into three main areas. There is what is called the hanging area, which I'll explain in a bit, and you don't get any points if the balls are in the hanging area, which is where they all start. And then there is a middle area, which I forget what it's called, but to get to the middle area, there's a little bump between that area and the first one. So your bump, it's only about 2 inches high, but you still have to design your robot so it doesn't get stuck on that bump. The 2-inch bump is sort of like has a little ramp on it, but like if your wheels are too far apart and your robot is too low, you'll get caught up on that bump, or you might not be able to get over it, etc. And then between the middle area and the main goal area, there is it's a little bar a foot high, so you have to fit under that bar. But there's a reason you also want to be taller, which I'll explain a bit. It has to do with the hanging area. But so if you get stuff into the middle area, it's worth 1 point, and if you get it into the far area, it's worth 5 points. Or not 5, I think 5, 2? Anyway, it's worth more points, because for the game I learned there's 2 different size balls, and the little ones are worth less and the big ones are worth more. But suffice to say, they're worth more points if you get them to the farther area. And there's also a little goal. They're quite small, so if you can, it's a little tube on the far end of the third side. So you can either make your robot reach up and put the balls in there, or you can make it throw them, which is another mechanic. But, you can choose. It's pretty much up to you how you want them to move. They might push the balls, they might throw them, they might reach them up, in a slow manner, and controlledly put them in. Because the diameter of the tube is rather narrow, so it's probably easiest to move them in a controlled way. Oh, I should also mention there are 2 components to not components, but there's 2 main types of the match. There is an AI portion, so you have to program your robot to move on its own as well. So you get, a certain time frame to make the robot move on its own and get the most points you can, and then you take control of the robots with little controllers, which actually look an awful lot like Xbox or PlayStation controllers. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, you have to write your own programming to decide how you want your robot to move. And you get like a certain number of motors and a certain number of what's the other word? You have motors, and you can also put, of course, sensors into your robot so that you can have it, for example, there's lines on the field. You can have it read those lines and sort of try to tell where it's at. And I'm certainly not strong on the programming end, but I imagine the possibilities are pretty broad for that. But where else was I? What was I talking about? I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh dear, it's a ghost. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Oh, since I was just a beginner, and there were actually a lot of beginners, they'd had a Club Rush Day last week, which brought in a lot of new people. That's sort of where all the school clubs, have a little table and just say like, hey, here we are, come check us out. And so they showed us their robots, because they'd already been competing, and then We actually disassembled those and made 2 new ones. 2 whole new ones. Where we just had 1 or 2 basic set of criteria. We tried to deal with one of those 2 obstacles. Oh. And then Nirma died. Jumping onto landmines is generally a bad idea. He says something set it off and it wasn't his fault. But I guess that is it for the daily challenge, and if you're interested in Vex, I would recommend checking them out. I don't know what their website is, but there's always Google. So, V is in Victor, EX, VEX. And I hope you enjoyed the daily challenge, and goodbye from Nirma and I.